Good morning and welcome to opening day. You are watching the Sambazon Dawn Patrol report here for the MEO Pro Portugal presented by Rip Curl. Stop number 3 of the World Surf League Championship Tour. We are soaked. Pouring rain coming down on opening day first thing in the morning. About 55 degrees Fahrenheit, about 13 Celsius. Everyone's rugged up, wearing some warm, foul weather gear as they anticipate the first call of the event here in Portugal. Thanks for being with us all around the world. Joe Turpel, big wave legend Pete Mel, Shannon Hughes flying from Australia to be here to call this event. So great to see you guys. I know, Pete, for you, you've been in Portugal recently with all the action in Nazaré, but how good is it that the CT is back here at Super Tubos? 2019 feels like a eternity ago.
It sure does, and this is one of those waves that is, like you said, built the pressure, right? The pressure cooker at the end of the season. Now being at the mid-year cut, which is a whole new thing we get to talk about, the pressure's still here. And this is one of those waves that you've got to find the barrel, you've got to be able to do big airs, you've got to be able to do it all.
Shannon, interesting start to the season. I mean, from Hawaii, having different types of winners, kind of an unprecedented start to the year. Are you feeling like that youthful movement will continue at stop number 3, or some of the older guard going to get back what they deserve at this event?
Well, it's certainly been unexpected, but at the same time, to see that rookie class really just take charge in Hawaii was an exceptional thing to witness. But now, given that we've got Portugal, Bells, and Margaret River as these last 3 events, those are the events that the veterans really can shine at and that they have the experience at. So I wouldn't put it past them to take back that control.
A lot of excitement, a lot to discuss, but first let's get the most important part of the day, the opening call, as we will send it down to Louisa Florence with Renato Hickel.
Yes, guys, it's been 28 months that we haven't been here. How good is to be back at Super Tubos?
Really good. We're really excited despite the massive storm we're facing this morning. Really strong winds, lots of rain.
You're a little wet.
Yeah, a little wet. And Francisco, that runs the event for us here in Portugal, he was teasing, he was joking that Portugal is facing a drought. If we want to finish the drought, put a surfing event on.
Amazing, so we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Besides the rain, what's the call for today?
We're gonna wait, obviously. We have a massive swell on the way. The winds are not favorable now, so we're going to put the event on hold. The next call is going to be 10:50 a.m. local time for a possible start at 11 o'clock. So stay tuned, everyone. It should be a good day.
Can we talk a little bit more about the swell coming up? Because I know there's a lot coming up.
Yeah, this swell is supposed to build really rapidly through the day. It could potentially be on 8 foot, 2.5, 3 meters by the late afternoon today. We're going to have to deal with side shore winds. Winds is not ideal today. Just at the very end of the day, and then tomorrow, massive swell. So probably 8 to 10 foot, strong offshore winds, so we're really excited about that.
Amazing. Sounds like it's on, guys. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Louisa. Great call from Renato. We don't have to walk away just yet. It's opening day. Let's wait a few hours. So you guys wondering, it's about 7:35 local time in the morning. Next call, 10:50. Possible 11 o'clock start with that opening round of competition. As Renato was alluding to, Pete, we've got a lot of options coming. That swell's going to be coming up very quickly. What do we have in store on the Surfline forecast?
Well, it's good news. When you start to see those maps and you take a look at this Surfline forecast, you're going to be pretty excited about the amount of swell. One of the dicey things that happens here, especially at Super Tubos, is that you have to have the right winds. You know, if you get that southerly, westerly kind of range of winds, those can be pretty dicey. But that looks like a basket of blueberries to me as you see those little purple spots going across the Atlantic, and it's that's a good sign. It means there's plenty of swell, so we may have to pick and choose, which we do here in Europe. Got tides that move up and down pretty quickly and pretty high, but plenty of swell. I mean, you look at today, the improvement's going to happen where we're going to start to see that northwest direction of the wind, which will clean up the lineup, and that's when we'll probably get competition going. That's our hope. Keep our fingers crossed. I mean, you look out through the rest of the week, again, just plenty of swell. Look at Sunday, 8 to 12 feet, and that's the kind of waves we want to see, right? This is what we want to challenge the Championship Tour elite, and they were going to usually show up.
And that's what we're hoping for. Like every venue on tour, you have the dream set up. Here, you want to see huge barrels, everyone getting spit out of tubes to crown our champion. We'll see if we do get a start later on today with that increasing swell as we take a quick break from the Sambazon Dawn Patrol report. Coming up next, we'll talk about the favorites here at Super Tubos for stop number 3 of the season. Here for the Sambazon Dawn Patrol report on opening day of the MEO Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl. We are going on hold until 10:50 this morning to see if things will clear up. Pouring rain at the moment, and onshore winds are definitely delaying the start this morning. Jordy Smith, Jake Marshall, Jackson Baker on deck. Potentially, if we do run the men's first thing in the morning, we'll wait to see if things do clean up, because it is anticipated to rise. But for Pete, Shannon, we've got some new names entering the field here for the main event. Always excited to see new wild cards get a taste of the championship tour. We've got Afonso Antunes, who will be making his debut, and also looking at Justin Becret, who is always here anyways, hanging out with Richard Dog Marsh, so he'll be well prepared to try to shake things up on tour, which has been the theme this year.
Well, that's exactly it, right? The theme is there, so you can take that confidence thinking, hey, yeah, I can take out the big names. Although I'd feel like the big names are, the usual suspects, as you like to call them, are going to be there and fight big time, because they need to be.
Also looking at Tia Blanco, winning the Ultimate Surfer, and now ready to cash in those wild cards. She's got a big round heat with Steph Gilmore and Carissa Moore.
I mean, that is a terrifying heat to draw for her first ever championship tour debut, but Tia Blanco is a fantastic competitor. Formerly, she's got 2 gold medals from the ISA World Surfing Games back-to-back, so she's got that competitive drive, and she's had that success before in some big competitions. I'm excited to see what she does this year in Portugal.
So we'll see if she can add to all the upsets that we've had this year. Remember, already one big wild card victory, Moana Jones at Pipeline. Brisa Hennessy, a young name to win her first event at Sunset Beach. So you're thinking maybe this is a chance for a former world title threat to really step up. Lakey Peterson, runner-up to Caroline Marks back in 2019. She's got a big opportunity in front of her, Pete.
She sure does, and again, a lot of confidence coming to an event that hasn't had a lot of women's competition. So she's had success, and when it came to Super Tubo, she's one to watch for sure.
Very clean style. It seems like she came on with a reputation of being super radical, high performance. I haven't seen a ton of that lately. She's really been focusing on power surfing in the last couple of years, Shannon.
Yeah, it's been exciting to see. I love that focus for her, and you can really see, the confidence that she had back in 2019 out here. And she was that one that was the world title spoiler for Carissa Moore, who could have won the world title had she won here in Portugal. And Lakey took her out in the semifinals and made that whole conversation head to Maui, as well as that Olympic conversation. And so for Lakey, for her to have that experience of making it to the finals alongside Caroline Marks here, it's got to feel pretty good.
And wishing Caroline all the best. Can't wait to see her back in a jersey. So Lakey, runner-up, had a great result in that final back in 2019, as she'll be taking on Sally Fitzgibbons and India Robinson in the opening round. And what a year it's been for Sally, sitting at the bottom of the rankings into stop number 3 for really the first time in her career.
Yeah, and again, we talked about the mid-year cut, which makes that so much more pressure-filled for these next few events. She's going to have to climb that rankings to make sure that she can make the cut to compete in for the world title, for the final 5, but also just to make the cut, being on tour and not having to go back to the Challenger Series.
Also looking at the men's side, one to watch. Obviously, from back-to-back wins, Italo Ferreira has made quite a statement in Portugal. 2 wins, 3 finals, and 5 starts. It doesn't get much better than that, Shannon.
Oh, he's got such a good record here. It'll be interesting to see if he can go for his 3rd in a row and kind of match that conversation that the GOAT, Kelly Slater, has had for getting 3 consecutive wins at the same venue.
That's right. Kelly's done it at Lowers. He's done it at Fiji. He's done it in the 90s at Pipeline. Can Italo be the first to do it here at Super Tubos, as he's been on quite a run at this venue? However, probably a little frustrated with the start that he had in Hawaii, leading into stop number 3.
And generally, that's not his style. He usually doesn't start out the season at the lower results. So again, I think that we have confidence, especially at a place like this. I mean, his style and approach of surfing these beach breaks, it's why he's a multiple-time winner here. So I don't have any doubts that he'll be into that finals day.
He gets so inspired at Super Tubos, no matter what the waves look like. That's what makes him so dangerous. He almost got a perfect 10 for a big punt as a rookie out here against Toledo when the waves were incredibly hard to surf. And then the last 2 seasons, especially last year, that full road in a closeout to beat Jordy Smith is so reliable, as he's taken on Jadson Andre and also Vasco Ribeiro, who made the semifinals as a wild card in 2015.
And he's a wild card that's going to be tough for Italo to come up against. Someone that knows this wave well, who's, feeling comfortable and at home, and it has the power but the barrel knowledge as well to be able to perform at a wave like Super Tubos.
Really exciting opening round draw, and a lot more to look forward to on the Sambazon Dawn Patrol report. Join us with celebrating International Women's Day, which is coming up in the waiting period at March 8th. A lot to celebrate coming up next. You're watching the Sambazon Dawn Patrol report here first thing in the morning on opening day for the MEO Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl. Grab your acai, provided by Sambazon. Always good to start your day. You feel light and energized for that early morning surf. Once again, the call is delayed till 10:50 this morning to see if we are on. And once again, we are celebrating International Women's Day here on March 8th. But we're going to start the celebration immediately. Every surfer on tour has chosen a woman athlete that really inspires them and they want to pay tribute to when they paddle out for the opening round of competition. Here's what the surfers had to say.
International Women's Day falls in our MEO Pro waiting period here in Portugal. And for International Women's Day this year, we got to pick the last name of someone who's inspired us in sport history.
I choose Florence Artaud. She's a French sailor, and I'm fascinated how brave she was to sail across like the Atlantic Ocean by herself on her boat.
The person I picked for International Women's Day is Andrea Vargas, which was one of the athletes that I traveled to the Olympics to, and she's an incredible hurdler, an amazing mom, and I think she just represents Costa Rica and women in Costa Rica so well.
I picked Lisa Anderson as my inspiration, and I haven't told her. I don't know whether she knows. I didn't ask her. Maybe I should have asked her, but I wanted to surprise her and honor the work that she's done in surfing, all the world titles she's won.
I decided to represent Naomi Osaka, and I really respect the way she's a really honest athlete.
I chose Jessica Silva. She's a soccer player. She plays here in Lisbon. We became really good friends.
It's special that we got to connect in the Olympics and to have that friendship.
She was like one of the first female to be in the boys' sport. She also had a daughter at the same age as me.
She's just someone who I look up to. She works really hard to achieve her dreams and to make our country proud.
There's so many amazing women in sport that inspire me.
She did really inspire my mom also as a young woman.
I feel like in this day and age, there's so much criticism and so much outside noise that it's hard to be yourself. And I respect her a lot for being so pure. And it's something that, I draw a lot of inspiration from.
If I ever got to meet Michelle Kwan, I would say thank you for inspiring millions of young women around the world.
I definitely try my best to match her bravery and really, just like as independent and strong.
It's an incredible initiative and I think message that WSL is doing to really highlight women.
The power of wanting to represent our country in the best way possible, win titles, and be the best in the world.
It's all about lifting each other up.
So many great female athletes that inspire us all. What a special time to honor them all this week, not just in surfing, but in all sports worldwide. And great to really hear from the athletes on who inspires them in different fields. There's a lot of great energy around this this week, and we'll celebrate it the entire waiting period. Shannon, do you have an athlete that really stands out to you, that really inspires you?
Well, there's so many, but the first name to come to mind is the great Bianca Buitendog. She's now an Olympic silver medalist, but she was a former championship tour surfer, and I think just the grace and the faith that she carries through with her life is really incredible to have witnessed through her journey as a young athlete. And she's now entered that retirement, and she's pouring back into her home community in South Africa as an Olympian. And she's just someone that's really inspired me for a number of years.
It's interesting, Pete, how this is such an individual sport at times. And then there's times when you get to honor and pay tribute to another athlete and really acknowledging the females that have done great things, sometimes before them or currently on tour alongside them. That's got to be special to surf for.
It sure is, and it almost gives you something to aspire to, right? I mean, Kelly with picking Anderson, Lisa Anderson is like, it's something where she's going to be flattered, right? But at the same time, didn't realize that probably he was so inspired by what she was able to do with her career. And again, I think with all the athletes being able to have that aspiration and especially be able to surf with them in this event, it's really cool.
I think there's going to be a lot of revealing moments for some of the surfers that have picked athletes currently on tour and what that means to their peer group, knowing that they've honored, from the men's side to the women's side, there's a lot of legends in the draw.
Yeah, it's really incredible to see that. I'm excited to see who paddles out with what names, and I love that nod to those surfers that are still currently competing, and really to see the impact that they've had on their own generations and the generations that are just starting to enter this professional tour.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil too many of them because there's some special stories. We'll wait for the surfers to reveal most of them, but I think the one that Kelly spoke to with Lisa Anderson, 4 world titles, coming at an era before we had the internet and those live broadcasts that you saw those results in live real time. There is so many important moments that you want to celebrate a legacy like Lisa throughout this event as well, Pete.
That's so true. And I mean, there's, like I said, we've got a list of some of the women that are being honored by all of the athletes here, and it's pretty cool, you know, and the reasonings behind them. So stay tuned because it's going to be pretty cool to witness all of that unfold.
Also coming up next on the Sambazon Dawn Patrol Report, we'll get more insight on how this incredible wave called Super Tubos works. Still waiting for it to pick up today. We'll be right back for more here on Sambazon Dawn Patrol. The MEO Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl, is brought to you by Hydro Flask. Every adventure starts with 2 simple words. Let's go. And by Havaianas, official partner of the World Surf League. You're watching the Sambazon Dawn Patrol here for the MEO Pro Portugal, presented by Rip Curl. Here in the beautiful town of Peniche, old school fishing village. It's got a nice industry drive. You can go around the peninsula. It's always offshore somewhere, which makes this wave or this destination so incredible. You know, you think about all the intention on this location, from the Challenger Series to big wave events. This country's got a lot of action for good reason. But let's focus more on Super Tubos as we find out where we are in this beautiful part of Europe and really focus on what makes this wave so incredibly special, Pete.
Well, it's the peninsula. You know, you've got this big peninsula that sticks out, and one of those things that happens with that is you get the winds blowing offshore either direction. Lots of swell here in Portugal. One of the best things about it is that you literally can surf each and every day of the year. You know, you can find some waves to be had. You know, a beautiful part of the world with a very surf-stoked crowd.
That's exactly right. You see Portugal there and Lisbon, about an hour drive to get to Peniche. If you keep going another 40 minutes, you get to the famous Nazaré. And this Peniche city is the westernmost city in Europe. You can see that old famous harbor right there, Super Tubos, as we talk about the swell lines, Peter.
Well, and this is one of the unique things is we still get this Nazaré Canyon, which feeds into this zone as well. I mean, obviously the big deep part goes to the north of us here, as you can see, but there's that little finger there at the bottom right that feeds into Peniche, and that is why this place is special. It, you know, it gets that extra energy. I mean, you come out at the beach break out here, it's 2 to 3 foot. It feels like it's 10 foot. It's got that much juice.
It's got so much power. You can see Belgus on the other side of the peninsula, which makes this venue so valuable because we have gone mobile quite a few times in the past. Shannon always has favorable winds on a certain side.
Yeah, it's really special to come to a part of the world where we've got that on offer. We want to see the surfers surf in the best conditions that a place has to offer, and if that means onshore here at Super Tubos, we've got some options available.
Which is great to see. You see that north and northeast, even east-northeast is nice and offshore for Super Tubos. We didn't see that this morning. That's why we're going to wait and see if things turn around a bit for this lineup right out in front.